sad, very sad. I just hope that they catch him, and fast.
Please note that this content is for adults only. Viewer discretion advised. If you haven't yet, hit the subscribe, like, and share. Hello everyone and welcome to another live stream with me, Grizzly. This is Grizzly True Crime. Happy Saturday to those of you who are joining me live today. If you are watching the replay sometime from the future, then I hope you're having a good day as well. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome mods. Welcome to all my patrons and members. Members, I hope you enjoyed the balcony time that we had together. If you missed it, it is on the community tab for you. Heather, thank you so much for your $3 super sticker. Really appreciate it. Today we're going to be looking at a few updates in Rachel Morin's case. If you haven't followed this case with me, we're going to go have a quick recap as well. But there is a playlist on this case. I would highly recommend you check it out so that you get the whole story and all the clips and the map time and everything, so that you know everything you want about the case. So there's just a few updates, meaning there's a celebration of life coming up. There's the $10,000 reward now. The Harford County Sheriff has done some interviews, both written statements that he's made as well as being on video interviews. So we're going to look at those as well and just listen very carefully to what he's saying, especially because of the, that surveillance footage we have of who they believe is their suspect, but it's like a side profile and it's a video enough for people to look at and be like, damn, I recognize him. Maybe somebody recognizes him, and they are receiving tips. But it's up to us to share as much as possible based on the little that is out there. We need to help the police as much as possible. That's where the power of social media really exists. We can share, and hopefully somebody will come across it and be like, damn, okay, I know this guy, and then report that, call in that tip. Okay, Leah, welcome to Grizzly Super Supporter. If anyone is joining membership right now, today, check out the members only playlist because there's a video that I just did from my balcony with Fury the cat as well, so you might enjoy that. Linda, thank you so much for your $5 super sticker, really appreciate it. So let's quickly look at this reward. I've got some video clips to show you and lots of little updates, okay? And we're keeping a very close eye on this case. I really hope that they catch this guy soon. The sheriff has said if they don't catch him soon, he's going to strike again. So that tells us he is a very violent offender. I will update you now so that you know what's going on in case this is the first time you're hearing of this case, but he could be a potential serial killer. We don't know about past crimes that he's committed either, like how many. It's quite a scary thought, and we don't know where he is right now, even who he is. Weaver, thank you so much for the Fury Treat Fund. Really appreciate it. So if I show you this quickly, I'll zoom in. They say Harford County Sheriff's Office, okay, up to $10,000 reward established for information leading to a conviction of the person responsible for the murder of Rachel Morin. Metro Crime Stoppers of Maryland has also made this available in Spanish, which I think is also a really great idea. They say homicide. The Harford County Sheriff's Office is requesting assistance in identifying the below individual in relation to the homicide of Rachel Hannah Morin. Rachel Morin was murdered on August 5th of 2023 while walking on the Monpar Trail in Bel Air, Harford County, Maryland. The unknown male is approximately 5'9", 160 pounds, 20 to 30 years of age, dark hair, muscular build, and is believed to be of Hispanic descent. This photo was captured 6 months ago, and the subject's hairstyle may have changed. This individual is believed to have ties to the Los Angeles area and may have been involved in violent crimes in other states. Anyone who can identify this unknown male or has additional information is asked to contact the Harford County Sheriff's Office. Thank you so much, Leah. Anyone with investigative information regarding this incident is encouraged to contact the Harford County Sheriff's Office. They've got all the numbers there, RM tips, everything is in the description box for you. You can also screenshot this and share it. You can also download the flyer from the Facebook page, which is also linked for you. And please do that on social media. Download it and share it as much as possible. A lot of people are speculating that it could be military. I mean, could be. There's a lot of speculation out there, of course. Metro Crime Stoppers of Maryland says anyone with information regarding the crime who wishes to remain anonymous may report the information through the following methods listed below. Qualifying tips submitted to the tip lines below that lead to a conviction may be eligible for up to $2,000 in rewards through Metro Crime Stoppers and up to an additional $8,000 in rewards through the Harford County Sheriff's Office Asset Forfeiture Fund. You could submit tips through all these ways. There's the website, there's a mobile app, there's a phone number to call as well. They're making it available in so many ways. Anonymous tip if you want. So if you know anything, please say something. You just don't know if a small something that you know. Even if you say, hey, I went to high school with this guy, or hey, I know this guy, or yep, I saw it in that day, wherever it was. You know what I mean? So please keep that in mind. I'm going to read you a quick article now so that if you've missed what is this all about, where does this footage come from, then you'll know that as well. Heather says, so glad you made it, Leah. Thank you, Heather, for your sticker as well. And so let's quickly look at this. Let me just resize it for you. And then we're going to look at some video clips too. And I found an article, and lots of you have sent it to me as well, of that Los Angeles incident where they just expand on it just a little bit. Okay, so law enforcement agencies working coast to coast from Los Angeles to Maryland have identified a suspect in the violent and apparently random killing of a woman who was hiking outside Baltimore earlier this month. They just don't have a name. DNA evidence from the scene where Rachel Morin's body was found on August 6th on the Morin Heritage Trail in Bel Air, Maryland, matched the DNA collected from a burglarized home in Los Angeles, where a young girl was assaulted on March 26th, according to the Harford County Sheriff's Office in Maryland and the Los Angeles Police Department. A doorbell camera video released by LAPD officials shows a shirtless man exiting the Los Angeles home where the burglary and assault took place, authorities in both jurisdictions said. When the DNA evidence from Maryland was entered into the FBI's combined DNA index system, it matched the burglary and assault suspect in Los Angeles, they said. The suspect is thought to be of Hispanic descent, in his 20s, approximately 5'9", 160 pounds, but investigators have not linked the DNA profile to a particular person, Colonel William Davis of the Harford County Sheriff's Office said at a news conference August 17th. Maryland authorities are offering a reward of up to $10,000 for information that leads to a conviction. So I hope that makes sense. There was a home invasion and an assault, and the sheriff says on a juvenile female. He said that in his recent interviews, which we're going to be watching together. Okay? And so for everyone saying, why would he be walked to the door? If he's dealing with a child, you just don't know what that child's survival instinct is also telling them to do. You know, he might have broken in, maybe they got a fright, maybe there was a scuffle of some sort. I just think it was way more serious than what they're actually saying. You know why? Because they put his DNA in the database. They got his DNA somehow and put it into the database. So to me, this says a whole bunch of things. Alyssa, thank you so much. Also, if you guys haven't yet checked out criminal profiler John Kelly's latest videos on this case, you might enjoy those as well. In his most recent one, he literally directly addresses the killer. Because we know that killers and potential serial killers, they watch all the coverage they can online of their case, right? They're actually quite paranoid that they're going to get caught. Because you know why? They're going to get caught. Okay. So, Bowling with Cotton Ball says, I think if he was military, they'd have his DNA on file. I don't know. Because sometimes, you'd say, I think if he was, let's say, law enforcement, they would have it. But as we saw in Stephanie Lazarus's case from years ago, I don't know if you guys remember that. If you're an OG, we covered that. Then they didn't have her DNA on file. So it just depends. We are going to play the ring cam footage again, but please know there's a video that's separate already on the playlist where I've looped it and it's timestamped and you can watch it over and over and over again, okay? So this is what we got here. I just wanted to make sure that you understand what's going on here before we dive into the clips, because you need to listen very carefully to the details. We believe this was a person that Rachel probably didn't know. Maybe you could say potentially a random act of violence, Davis said. And we're hoping that somebody can identify him. The LAPD in a statement said that its detectives have been in contact with Harford County investigators to provide any and all information needed to bring the person responsible for such a brutal and senseless murder to justice. Morin, a 37-year-old mother of 5, had gone for a walk on August 5th on the Manpa Trail but did not return. Her car was found parked at the entrance and her boyfriend reported her missing that night. Joseph Murtha, an attorney for Morin's family, said that her mother, 4 brothers and sister were encouraged by the new developments in the investigation. A celebration of Morin's life will be held on Sunday, as in tomorrow, depending on where you live. If you're in Australia, you're already there, okay? But tomorrow, Sunday, 1 p.m., in the church the family attends, the Greater Grace Church of Baltimore. I'll show you that whole write-up as well. Okay? Now there's at least one person who's been identified as the perpetrator, Murtha said. Because of the national coverage, they believe that somewhere someone will know this person and hopefully identify this person to law enforcement. And then all the numbers, as I say, are in the description box. Emily Hayes says that was a good question about the ring cam catching him coming towards the house. Again, I will say we've had a whole member stream about this as well, where we broke down all the possibilities. Anyway, and the point is that if it's someone who is committing a home invasion, they would likely not walk up to the front door and enter. They would have probably gone around the back and they would have probably entered through a window. Now, I'm not going to drive us around the house, although I myself have driven around the house, because I'm not about to show the victim's family's home and numbers and everything, but I have had a drive. And what I can tell you is that as he walks down that driveway, okay, as he walks down the little steps and the little pathway and he turns right, he's not heading to a place where he can actually exit like a normal person. The gate is right there. He should just walk straight out. So the fact that he turns to the right like that tells me that he's like hopping over the gate. Like he's just hopping over or something like that, right? Which means he probably hopped over coming in and probably went through a window, and there are side windows along that house. Also, interestingly, on something called crimemapping.com, okay, there's actually an incident from March 26th, because the LAPD said it happened on March 26th from 3:20 in the morning at that address, that says... Again, I'm not showing it because I want to protect the house. But they said driving, there was an incident, right? 3:20 a.m., driving without the owner consent is what the incident has been listed as. So that's pretty interesting as well. All right? So now, the other thing I want to say, in driving around that area, I felt like I was a little bit back in South Africa. There was a lot of houses with a lot of burglar bars, a lot of security and all of that. So I'm like, It tells me it might not be the safest area. And what does that mean? To me, it tells me the incident was really bad for his DNA to be loaded into the national database, right? Okay. Crystal said, did anyone catch the name of the channel? Criminal profiler John Kelly. He's been on the show many times, and I will link his channel afterwards in the description box for you, okay? So... Shauna, thank you so much. Yeah, I've got a lot of emails. I'm glad that you guys are submitting tips. Thank you also for keeping me in the loop of what you think, all your thoughts and what you think. Please do continue to send your tips in, credible tips to the police. Okay. So, just checking if I'm missing anything. Right. Emily says his DNA says he's Hispanic. He's just not in the system. His DNA does not necessarily say that. They don't know that. I think they're basing it on the video that they've seen. Okay, so we've looked at that. Now let's look at some clips, and then we'll come back to some interviews, written statements from the sheriff, as well as the celebration of life that's coming up tomorrow. Okay, so let me quickly bring up the clips that I prepared for you here, which are from 2 mainstream media sources. One is Dan Abrams, I believe on News Nation, and then one is from Court TV, actually. So let's have a look at that.
Since you've been able to link this back to the LA...
There we go. Okay.
Been able to link this back to the LA assault. Have you gotten a lot of tips?
We have received quite a few tips. I think we're in the area of 350 or so tips since this crime happened, many of them coming after the video release there that you just showed on the 17th with the DNA hit. Thankfully, a DNA hit back to on the CODIS system back to that case in Los Angeles.
And people calling and saying they think they know who the person is, I assume. I mean, look, the problem in these kinds of cases, I don't have to tell you, is that you get an enormous amount of calls. Most of them aren't particularly relevant. People think they might be, but I assume you're getting a lot of calls from people saying, I know who that guy is?
No, we're still getting the kind of the calls that we were getting before the video. We haven't received a call saying, we have received some saying it might be this person, and we're following all those up. And we want those calls. And you're right, the majority of the tips that come in are not of value, but we need our investigators to vet them to ensure that, we're not missing that one that is going to bring this person.
Very important. We've seen in many cases like Delphi, the early tip, like a tip that just came in the beginning days, was so important. I really hope this case doesn't turn into something like Delphi, where they've got DNA from two different types of crimes and two different, from one crime scene, a murder scene, one home invasion and burglary. They've got the DNA. They don't know the identity of this person. They've got a video, but I really hope that they can catch him soon, because someone like that, as the sheriff will say later, is very likely to strike again, which is very, very scary to think about. Also, for those of you who are confused, yes, the home invasion happened in Los Angeles. The murder happened in Maryland. So that is a giant red flag that this person travels all across the state, all across the United States of America. We don't even know where he is right now. So no matter where you live, always stay safe. Always be hyper vigilant, stay safe, okay? But if you spot anyone that you think looks like him, or if you want to call in that tip, please do. Please do. Okay, so continuing on.
To put him behind bars where he needs to be. Somebody out there knows who he is, and that tip has not come through to us yet.
And, your office has made it clear that you view this guy as a really dangerous individual.
100%. He has shown from what he did in Los Angeles and the more serious case here with the homicide of Rachel, just the violence associated with that. This guy has no regard for human life.
See, we've got to listen very carefully, because based on what he did with a home invasion and an assault on a minor, and what the murder that he committed, one is a home invasion, one is on a trail. It's two different, very different scenes, but yet this guy, even from the video, seems fairly comfortable, one might say, to be walking out quite casually, not running around, not sprinting. Obviously doesn't want to cause alarm or anything. He's just walking out like, keep it cool, and not even through the gate. He actually walks to the right, so I think he's going to hop over the fence or something. But, those are two very different scenarios, and yet that makes him such a predator. Like, what a freaking predator. One at 3:20 in the morning, apparently, based on what we can see from crime mapping, and the other at 5 or 6 o'clock at night. It's really scary. So, and never mind how he left Rachel Morin, apparently, based on the people that found her. That is like posing. Apparently, she had no clothes on. So, she was on her back. Blunt force trauma, right? And so that is like a serial killer, which is also, John Kelly talks a lot about serial killers and profiles them. So, he's like on this case. I think there's 4 videos already. So check it out. I'm just like, damn, it's a very scary case. I really hope they catch him soon. Otherwise, there will be more and more victims, because these types of guys cannot stop themselves. Okay.
The value of human life, and he will reoffend if he's not apprehended. We need, investigators continue to work diligently, through around the clock with our partners, working with our partners out in LA at this very moment, hopefully to identify this person. But again, I say somebody out there knows who he is off of that picture, off of what we've been able to release, and we need that person to come forward and help us get this monster off the street.
All right. Sheriff, we're putting up the picture. We put up the video. We put up the description. We're going to continue to follow this case, because I do believe this is one of these cases where someone is going to recognize that guy. That's a good enough video of the guy that if someone knows him, they'll be able to say, oh, wait a sec, I know who that is.
Exactly, which is why it's important for us to keep sharing. Please like this episode, share, #Rachel Morin. Please keep doing that. Please clip the video if you can. You can get it from Facebook as well. Share it there from the Harford County Sheriff's Department. I've got a video on it where we've got it on loop. I've got it at the end of this video as well on loop. We're going to look at it one more time all together. We've watched it multiple times together. So we need to keep sharing it because you just don't know who's out there who hasn't seen it yet. And then, as I say, the reward poster, that's now $10,000 reward for information leading to finding that suspect, is also available in Spanish. So you can share that from metrocrimestoppers.com, I believe. I'll put all the links as well in the description box for you. Okay, so continuing on there.
100% right, Dan. And I appreciate the opportunity to share that. And hopefully this leads to the tip that will help us bring this case down.
Sheriff Gaylor, appreciate it.
The reward is up. Where are you in the investigation? You have this little clip of video, which is very frustrating because it's not the face. But somebody knows this guy.
Yeah, Ted, I agree 100% spot on. The both of these are appalling crimes. The home invasion out in Los Angeles, we've been very tight-lipped on that. But other than to say, it involved an attack on a juvenile female in that residence.
You see, they say they've been very tight-lipped. They're not sharing too much, okay, because they need to protect the investigation. But he did just reveal the attack was on a juvenile female at that location, the one in Los Angeles, March 26th of 2023. Rachel Morin's was in August, so August 5th of 2023. March, April, May, June, July, August. That's 5 months later. What did he do in those 5 months? What did he do in getting from Los Angeles to Maryland? This is very scary. This could be a really big and scary case once they catch this guy. And people like that, it's like an addiction for them. It's an urge that they cannot avoid. So I really hope they catch him soon. So we need to share as much as possible. Okay, continuing on.
And of course, the homicide here. Where we are is basically following up on so many tips that have been generated as a result of the release of the video 8 days ago. Of course, DNA ties that individual to our homicide with Rachel. But you're right, and we read some of the comments on social media. Trust me, we all share, investigators, me, we all share in the frustration that that's the best image that we have, but that's the best image that we have. And I agree with you 100% that someone out there recognizes that's enough for someone to recognize who that person is. The people that know him will recognize him off of his build, off of his walk, off of the haircut. There's people out there who know him. We need to talk to them and get this guy, this monster, off the street.
Absolutely. Yeah, you look at that video, if he is a brother or a son or a friend, you're going to recognize that individual. The fear is that this suspect will strike again.
We're going to pause it there and listen very carefully. Ukulele for over 50s with Gabriel says, how did they get the video of the guy? It's ring cam footage from the property, and why can't they locate the person at the door from this video? The person at the door from the video is likely the juvenile victim. They've interviewed the juvenile victim. There is an investigation. They got DNA, obviously, from probably that juvenile coming forward, talking about what happened to them, telling their parents. They've got DNA. They put it in the national database. And if they hadn't done that, imagine how scary that thought is, that they wouldn't have been able to link the DNA that they found at the crime scene of Rachel Morin's murder to something else. Now, at least they know about 2 incidents, and at least they have this video. So while it's maybe, it's a side profile video, which again, he could have been calculated doing that, exiting like that and going like that and going to the right. And again, I'll say it's a home invasion. Typically, they wouldn't be like walking up to the front door, knock, knock. I think he would have gone around the side and gone into the window somehow there. So, but I'm sure there's a lot more to that case than we know of. All we know is it involves a juvenile victim. So, yes. Okay. What else did I want to answer? I think that's it. Let's listen to what the sheriff says here.
And that is because of the nature of the crimes that he is alleged to already have committed, that people like that don't stop?
Sure, and no doubt about it. Our investigators are confident. I feel confident that if we cannot locate him and get him removed from whichever community he is hiding in, he will do this again. He has shown an absolute disregard for human life.
The sheriff said that twice now. He has an absolute disregard for human life. And he's basing that, by the sounds of it, on both incidents. Now, the first incident was a home invasion and assault. But we don't know what exactly happened in that house, But if it's it sounds, again, like a bit of stranger danger, like getting in the house, assaulting a minor is what it sounds like to me. They did say in an LAPD statement it wasn't a sexual assault, but I'm just going to say I just don't believe them. I believe it was. I believe both cases will have that in common later, but I know they need to protect the investigation. But he said twice now, he has no regard for human life. And if they don't catch him, he will strike again. So that is scary.
He'll go to extremes, as he did in Rachel's case, to try to hide any evidence of what he has done. And he could be in any neighborhood in this country. So people are concerned here in Harford County, rightfully so. They're concerned in Los Angeles, rightfully so. But he could just as well be, in any state, in any community in this country.
Could he be out of the country?
Oh, certainly. Obviously, he's from all indications of Hispanic descent, so he could have fled the country by now. And again, that's why it's so frustrating. And we know, there's someone out there who knows him, whether he was living here and traveled to Los Angeles back in March when that occurred, or more likely he lived in Los Angeles and then fled here after that incident. All those options are on the table as well. But no matter what, there were people who interacted with him in both communities, and we just need to find the right tip. And so far, we've received hundreds of tips, and we greatly appreciate it. But none of
Please keep on submitting the tips. We are going to look at that camera footage again one more time. Kovik Kutsia says, Goeienaand Grizzly. Lekker om na jou program te luister hier uit Suid-Afrika. Jou program is suksesvol omrede jy 'n Suid-Afrikaner is. Trots op jou, goeie navorser en spreker. Thank you so much. So that means they're from South Africa. They're very proud of me. They think I'm successful because I'm South African. And they say I'm a good speaker. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. So, I'm telling you guys, I'm going to keep on sharing information as much as possible about this case because it's very scary. They need to catch this guy. I really hope they will soon. I hope it won't be years.
them have produced positive results to help us identify him.
This is the footage now, okay? This is, I'm just going to put my glass down there. This is now the footage. So here you can see he's got a gold chain on. I must say, this case, there's a lot of confirmation bias in this case because we all kind of see based on our own experience, like, I think he looks like a swimmer. Some people think he looks like a surfer. Some people say like a wrestler. I could see his ears are kind of like folded, if one could say that. We did quite a longish member stream recently, and we were looking at every little frame by frame just to go over what do we all think. To me, it does look like he's wearing pants that could be like work pants. Someone was saying it looks kind of like a postal worker, based on the jacket he's holding and then the pants he's wearing, and pointing out it looks like he's not wearing underpants as well. And then just all sorts of things. This could also be the angle of the camera that makes his back look extra curved, But either way, a strong, fit-looking individual, okay? They've already given us all the stats as well of what they think. His age would be 20 to 30, 5'9", 160 pounds, all of that. So we're going to look at this a few times now. Again, we've done it before, and as I say, the video is already in the description box. It says, watch surveillance here. Go to the timestamp, toggle the gear setting switch, make it 0.25 speed, make it 0.5 speed. Make it whatever speed you want. I would recommend slowing it down and watching it over and over again, grabbing some screenshots if you can, share that on social media. We need to do this as much as possible, okay? So let's just see him leave now. Look what I'm showing you here. You see how he walks like that? We don't know exactly what's in his pocket. Look now how he turns to the right, okay? Now, as I say, I'm not going to drive us with the little Google man right now. But based on crimemapping.com, okay, and the incident they say that happened there, I went to that address. I drove around. I found the house, okay? I could see the front of the house. The numbers are clearly on there and everything. And the point I'm trying to make is I'm protecting the victim and their family, right, by not showing the house now. But the point is, if you just walk straight, you see there's like cement and a little patch of like grass and some more of like concrete, I guess you guys would call it. He could just walk straight and the gate's right there. So the fact that he turns right is very odd. It's very odd. There's no way to exit that way. He would have to go it looks to me like he's heading towards a corner. And if you do look from the front of the house, I think he would have hopped over the fence there, right? Okay, so you guys are already saying, is it a tan line? Is it right? Okay. So Let's continue on. Okay, so we can see he's holding a jacket as well. So someone was saying with the color of the pants and the color of the jacket, he could be a janitor, he could be a postal worker, he could be pretending to be a police officer, all of those things. And it seems quite dark. We don't know exactly what time it was. Based on the address, though, on crimemapping.com, it could be related to an incident, but that could also be a separate incident where they say driving without consent of... they say driving without owner consent, DWOC. There's an incident number there around that same street, which is very interesting as well. Amy P says security guard. I mean, all of this, I don't know. We've all got lots of ideas. Of course, we don't know who this is. It's a side profile. The more ideas, I think, the better, as long as we can then, if you can condense that and put in a credible tip to law enforcement, I really think that could help. We don't want to spam them or clutter their inbox or anything, but please continue to share it, because maybe someone sees this and goes, oh my word, I know this guy. As they say, this was taken 6 months ago, so his hair likely would have changed. Okay, maybe he's already grown his hair out or shaven it all off, we just don't know. Okay, so we're going frame by frame now like this. See, it looks like he's looking downwards, and then off he goes. Kim Schwint, thank you so much. You say, hi, G and Mods. They're going to nail him with familial DNA, hopefully soon. That would be interesting as well. Yes? Okay. And I do wonder, I mean, where is he sleeping at night now? Where is he eating? Where did he sleep this night? What about in Maryland? What was he doing in Maryland? You know, was he there for a program? Was he visiting family? Does he have a girlfriend there? We just don't know. We don't know what he was doing there. And of course, with the investigation, they're going to be looking at any and every cell phone interaction. So if there's any chance that maybe he was stalking Rachel Morin on Instagram or Facebook or social media and there was any contact there, they're going to find that. Okay, so we got to trust the process as well. But our job is to share this as much as possible. Share the footage. So there's what everyone's talking about with the, you know, someone slamming the door. Which there's many cases we can bring up where it is possible for a juvenile victim to appease. There's fight, flight, freeze, fawn. There's dissociate. There's lots of ways to cope. And we've often seen in cases involving juveniles that they could be really smart to survive and not fight and be like, okay, I've got to walk you to the door. Yeah, okay. And then slam the door and maybe then immediately call their dad or call the cops or wake someone up or do whatever. That could be why. So we're not here to victim blame or shame or anything like that of like, oh my word, why would someone? I understand it might seem a bit odd, but this is all we have, a little snippet in time. And the reason we have this is because the police want our help to identify this person. So there you go. You can see the arm there, okay? You can see him. He's got no visible tattoos. I think the most distinguishing characteristics are probably his ears. His ears really look like a wrestler's ear that we've looked at it many times as well, like kind of folded ears, like a wrestler or like a rugby player or something, right? Rosanna Scotty says this video was taken 6 months ago and they don't have more. The camera's right there. How come we don't have more to look at? People demanding things. How come we don't have more? What do you mean? More to look at? It was taken 6 months ago. Yes? This is what they've released. This is all they have of this guy leaving the house and going to the right there. So we don't have him coming in because he would have gone in through a window very likely if he's a home invader and a predator, right? Kerry says, I think he has contacts in both areas, so maybe from around or between the vicinity. Could be as well. Could be. Okay, so off he goes. Alright, so you can either play this part on a loop or you can go to the video that's linked in the description box and play it on a loop. And off he goes. It does look like, yes, he's holding his shoes. It looks like he's not wearing shoes. Gold chain, folded ears. The haircut would have changed. Height. The height's not going to change. So, yes. But based on the crimes, the sheriff is saying this guy could be a serial killer. Okay, so we've got those clips that I wanted to show you. And then, let me quickly, I've got a few more things here. This is a Fox News article that says the prime suspect in Maryland mother of 5 Rachel Morin's Grizzly murder could attack, see how Grizzly spelt there, That's a different meaning to my channel. Mine is Grizzly Bear, like Grizzly Bear True Crime, okay? So the prime suspect in Maryland mother of 5, Rachel Morin's grisly murder, could attack more people if he isn't caught, an official told Fox News Digital. This individual poses a threat to every community, from here to Los Angeles, because we don't know where he's laying his head at night, said Harford County Sheriff Jeff Bel Air. Morin's body was found on August 6th in a wooded area on the Morin Trail in Bel Air, Maryland, one day after she left home for a walk and didn't return. DNA found at the crime scene matched a suspect wanted for a March home invasion and assault of a girl in Los Angeles. Police released surveillance video of the shirtless man fleeing the Los Angeles home. While DNA from the two crimes match, the Los Angeles Police Department and local police working with the FBI have yet to identify the man connected to the violent crimes. This remains the top priority, Gaylor said. This person has an absolute disregard for the sanctity of human life, and until he's arrested, there is a threat he'll do something harmful to someone else, he said. Gaylor believes the suspect has likely committed other acts of violence. I just don't believe you do two things that are so serious in nature, and that's your starting point. Most likely you've been involved in other crimes, he told Fox News Digital. Loki, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. You're like, oh, thank you so much from South Africa. And so the Harford County Sheriff's Office asked the public to continue coming forward with tips. It's very likely someone knows him around there and someone knows him here, he said. Online sleuths were quick to suggest Morin's new boyfriend, Richard Tobin, who reported her missing, may have been involved in her death, which he has publicly denied. At this point, there's no indication that he was involved, but until we know who this guy is, or whether he acted alone, the entire world is a suspect. Because people are saying on Facebook, of course, no man, the boyfriend's been cleared, don't worry about it, but no one's been cleared, and this is not to raise suspicion about the boyfriend, but no one has been cleared. Okay, the whole world is a suspect. They don't know if the perpetrator acted alone, or it seems so, okay, and they're looking for him, but they just needed to put that statement out there so that people can stop saying on social media, this one's cleared and that one's cleared. They haven't officially cleared anyone, okay? Barbara says, we do not know if the victim in LA is a male or female. I believe they said female juvenile, but we're going to check. We'll double check that. I think they said female though. Okay. And so Tobin, who made his relationship with Morin official on social media 4 days before she disappeared, posted a tribute to her on Facebook on Sunday. Rest in peace, Rachel Morin. Love you, baby. You will be forever missed. He captioned a photo of him holding a single red rose and staring at an outdoor memorial. Shame. They already had a walk for her as well, and tomorrow they're having a celebration of life. You showed me, he says this, you showed me how rewarding it was to be a man and treat you like a queen. Making you happy gave me joy every day, and I'm so glad I could give you that. You're my angel now and will always be with me. The community held a hike on Saturday on the Morin Trail in her honor. Okay. Nurse for God says, thank you for everything you do for the community. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. Maria says, it seems like more serial killers evolved since Rex was caught. Problem is, there's many active serial killers at one time, up to 300 in America. They often say 50, but when you listen to what the FBI says and the stats are like, it could be 300 active serial killers at one time, or serial offenders even. You know, this guy might be a serial offender, you know, and then have evolved now to include killing. We just don't know. And it also depends on if his victim fights back or not, because there's many ways that people respond to trauma: fight, flight, freeze, dissociate, or fawn, where you're appeasing them and playing along and all of that as well. It depends on the age of the victims and everything. And I mean, I think Rachel was strong and fit and a mom of 5 and feisty. I think she fought, you know, and unfortunately, oh man, the things that it sounds like he did to her, absolutely horrendous. Okay. So yeah, we're not putting the boyfriend in the spotlight or red flagging. Just important to note, legally speaking and from law enforcement's perspective, no one's been cleared. Okay, so we've got that. And then here as well, people also spoke to law enforcement. They say after releasing surveillance footage of a suspect believed to be involved in the death of Maryland woman Rachel Morin, authorities fear that he will attack again if he's not identified soon. Harford County Sheriff Jeff Gaylor tells people that that the suspected attacker, who was also linked to a home invasion in Los Angeles, might have committed other violent crimes in other states. The sheriff says that if the suspect is not caught quickly, other people could be in danger. I have no doubt in my mind, if he's not apprehended, he will become a serial killer, Gaylor says, because he will do this again. That is a very scary thought. But I give them credit that they're saying it like that instead of, don't worry about it. It's fine. Everybody's fine. Everything's fine. Because they're like, this guy is extremely dangerous and he will strike again. So they need to find him. We need to keep sharing the flyer, the footage, the everything, right? So the rest, we know about the story. Gaylor says the connection to the Los Angeles suspect came after DNA at the scene was run through a national database. The Sheriff's Department has gotten many tips as a result of the press conference. There are many press conferences we've looked at together as well. They've got a YouTube channel. I mean, actually, this Harford County Sheriff's Department is pretty brilliant. They've got a Facebook page, they've got a podcast, they've got a YouTube channel. I hope more Sheriff's Departments can follow their example, because it's a really great way to utilize social media as a tool for information. Instead of kind of like doing that, I don't know, sometimes like, no, we've got this, just leave us alone. But like, it can work so well together. Okay, so we've got that. Thus far, none of the tips have led to an identification. However, Gaylor says investigators from his department have gone to Southern California and have been working with the Los Angeles Police Department. Now, I wanted to show you this one as well. This is an article from the Los Angeles Times that says South LA prowler tied by DNA to slaying of mother of 5 in Maryland. Okay, so let's look at this as well. They say DNA from a South Los Angeles burglary has been tied by investigators to a woman who was killed on a Maryland hiking trail, increasing the chances of solving that slaying, law enforcement officials said. Investigators in Maryland on Thursday released a video of the shirtless, unidentified prowler, that's what they're referring to him as here, leaving, that sounds to me like sexual predator, okay? But okay, prowler, leaving a South LA home after a break-in last March, and they said they believe he is the killer of the woman, Rachel Morin, based on a match made through a DNA database. Morin, a 37-year-old mother of 5, disappeared on August 5th after apparently leaving for a run on the Maryland and Pennsylvania, that's why it's called Ma, if you didn't know that yet, Heritage Trail. Searchers found her remains the next day. Her death was ruled a homicide. The Harford County Sheriff's Department doesn't know the suspected killer's name, but they believe him to be 5'9", 160 pounds, between 20 and 30 years old, based on images captured in the South LA home security footage. I do also want to add, before I forget, I have seen 2 sketches in other cases released. Okay, there's other interesting cases around both of these areas. The reason I'm not going to show those sketches now is because I worry about, as we've seen, let's say for the Delphi case, those were official sketches of who they thought the bridge guy was. But the police have not said these sketches are who we think this guy is. So you see, once we see a picture and we associate it with the case, we can't unsee it. I worry about that. So I'm not going to show those, but thank you all for sending it to me. I am obviously always deep diving, looking into it, keeping it in mind, keeping an eye on it in case I can bring you any information that will be helpful for this case. Yeah. Okay. Where Shelley is. You can tell people who've never had to survive because they believe it's no different than being at liberty and safe. True. Where Shirley? True. Okay, so based on the DNA evidence, we consider the individual in the video that we obtained from the Los Angeles Police Department to be the person that murdered Rachel Morin. So in case anyone's confused, they do believe that the person in the video is the person who killed Rachel Morin, based on the DNA, right? So then they said Colonel William Davis of the Harford County Sheriff's Office, we believe this was a person that Rachel didn't know, potentially a random act of violence, which is also why they say prowler, because it's 2 seemingly random acts of violence. And a lot of times with people like this, it could be a voyeur, which means a peeping Tom, a stalker, watching someone for a few days or a few weeks or a while. There's also a high school right there where the home invasion happened. You just don't know if this guy was prowling around outside and spotted someone and followed them home and see where they lived. We don't know if they lived in the area either. All kinds of possibilities. So they say, again, we believe that this was a person that Rachel didn't know, potentially a random act of violence. LAPD Captain Kelly Muniz said the video comes from a March 26th. So now we've got the date there, okay? Hot prowler burglary in South LA, which means he burglarized an occupied home. I mean, damn. That's like Night Stalker style. Yeah, that's like, he's reminding me of the Night Stalker. Oh my word. Remember that? Whoa. Night Stalker. Many serial killers, stalkers, offenders. Yeah, this hot prowler is very dangerous, which means he burglarized an occupied home. So either he's on something or he's very courageous in that way, and we don't want to give him credit. I just mean, damn, bro. He likes that risk. He's a risk taker, okay? Muniz said a person was assaulted in that incident, but it was not a sexual assault. Yeah, I still work. I don't know about that. You know what I mean? I'm just like, oh, you got the DNA though. It could be many other ways. Could be many other ways. But I'm like, my gut still tells me both of these in the end will be sexual assaults, but we shall see. Harford County Sheriff's officials said the assault victim was a minor. LAPD collected DNA during the burglary investigation. The video from an exterior camera shows the suspect closing the home's front door and walking down the steps away from the house. Davis said investigators released the home security footage, hoping someone in LA or Maryland would recognize the suspect. Morin vanished on the evening of August 5th from the scenic trail that cuts through Bel Air, Maryland. According to the sheriff's department, her boyfriend, Richard Tobin, called the police that evening to report her missing after finding her car at the trailhead. Okay. The sheriff's department launched a search, and a volunteer found Morin's body around 1 p.m. the next day. The sheriff's office has not described the nature of her injuries, but a relative of the person who found her described her as suffering from blunt force trauma. And then if you listen carefully to those clips I played, the sheriff there also said, I'm paraphrasing now, but something like he wants to destroy evidence of what he may have done. Something like that. We have to re-listen again. But the point was, I was like, ooh, blunt force trauma. From what we heard to the head, I'm just wondering what this guy does. You know, I'm not going to fill in the blanks there, but I'm just like, what kind of sexual assault are we talking about here? Not the average kind, but what kind? You know what I mean? Like, what is he up to? Whew, very scary, though. So they say the sheriff's office has not described the nature of her injuries, but a relative of the person who found her described her as suffering from blunt force trauma. Coroner's officials declared Morin's death a homicide. Okay. Tobin shared the images of the suspected killer Thursday evening on his Facebook page. He said, I hope they find the scum of the earth, he wrote. Justice for Rachel, rest in peace, lovely Rich, adding heart and prayer emojis. Morin, a cleaning service owner, had 5 children ages 8 to 18. M. Liebrach, thank you so much for your sticker. I like to focus on one case at a time, but yes, of course, I've heard of it. And I say this with all kindness. I don't live under a rock. I am a true crime follower of all kind. I follow all the cases. I have all the alerts set up. I get hundreds of emails a day. So yes, I definitely have seen those updates as well. Thank you so much. Okay, so then I want to show you the celebration of life that's happening tomorrow, because today is August 26th, depending on where you are though. For me, it's in the Netherlands, almost 11 p.m., okay? So if you're in Australia, good morning. Or Hong Kong, okay? If you're in America, this is happening tomorrow, Sunday, August 27th, 2023. See, this is 7 p.m. my time. It'll be local to you. Let's just go over here. 7 p.m. my time. We've got to see what time that is in Maryland. I'm sure you can calculate it if you go to this link as well. But they say, event by Rebecca Morin, who's Rachel's sister. We would like to invite anyone who would like to join us for Rachel H. Morin's celebration of life, to be held Sunday, August 27th, 2023 at Greater Grace World Outreach Church at 6025 Moravia Park Drive in Baltimore. Okay, so we've got that. All right. If you would like, you may bring or send flowers to be placed on display during the event. This invitation is open to all family, friends, the community, and the media. Rachel H. Morin's celebration of life will also be live streamed for those who are not able to make it. The link will be shared on this event wall and also on Rebecca Morin's wall when it is available. So, out of respect, we've actually covered many cases where they have a celebration of life and they live stream it. Out of respect for the entire case, the situation for Rachel, I'm not going to be live streaming it, but I will check in and I'll see, I'll show support. Of course, I hope you guys do too. It is available on this Facebook page, and I will share it with you in the description box. What what a sad day. But I really hope a celebration of life, that lots of people join, that lots of people shower them with love. You know, I hope everyone is okay. I know this is terrible. Also, Science Nerd said, U.S. Marine here, that's not a military haircut. Thank you so much, Science Nerd. Really appreciate it. Stephanie Lloyd said, I'm so fed up with people saying about the girl closing the door. This was a minor victim. She slammed the door. I bet she was shocked. And exactly. I agree with you, Stephanie Lloyd. Me too. I mean, I think I've gone over it enough though, right? We've gone over it a lot, but there's a lot of victim blaming going on, and you just don't know until you're in a situation that feels very life-threatening, and obviously could be. This guy is now a killer. So, and what you would do to survive, as we've seen in many cases, like Shasta Gruner, right? You guys got to check their case out. We covered it on Grizzly True Crime before. See how she survived. That young girl was sipping a milkshake in a diner with somebody who had killed her entire family. She survived with him by literally appeasing him, by fawning. Okay? And we just don't know if that's what happened here. We also don't know exactly who did close the door or what the situation is. All we need to focus, is the footage. Who's this guy? Share it as much as possible. If you don't know who he is, right? Because many people don't. Share. Because you just don't know. They're not really asking us for our theories. Like, what do you think of his pants? What do you think of how he looks or his back? Huh? They're asking us to share the footage so that somebody who knows him will see that and be like, oh my word, I know this guy. I'm going to call this in. Even anonymously. Okay, so I've updated you with the celebration of life. What is this one now? Okay, and we've looked at this. Yes, we've looked at this as well. Okay, well then I've shown you everything. Here's the Spanish one as well. Thank you to MB Inc. who's here in the chat. MB Inc. is a YouTube channel as well for sharing this with me. I wasn't quite aware of it yet, but it's from metrocrimestoppers.org, and they've made everything available for the $10,000 reward in Spanish as well. So if you guys can share this as well, all the links are going to go in the description box afterwards. I always, after the live stream, go and sit there and work hard to bring you timestamps so that you can just navigate through any live stream replay to skip to the part that you want to see again. Okay? Regina says, I believe he will be caught. Yes. Here as well, one more time, there's a $10,000 reward now in this case. So if you didn't know, if you remember in the last stream, we were like, why is there no reward? Well, now there is a reward. A $10,000 reward. They are asking for the public's help. They are offering a $10,000 reward. Shauna said, military veteran here, not USMC haircut, but it definitely could be Army. Thank you so much, Shauna. Really appreciate it. I think that was part of what you sent me, right? On email. Thank you so much. Okay. Aaron said, you always work so hard for us, G. I do. I love you guys. Yes. And I really think that social media can be a very powerful tool if used correctly in a disciplined way. Of course, you know, I mean, that's what we try to do here on Grizzly True Crime. Stay in the responsible lane. Share as much factual information as possible. Bullet points of what can be done. So this flyer needs to be shared. The footage needs to be shared. Okay? It's not about watching it and coming up with theories of our own. We need to share. If there's ideas that could help, share. Okay? That's what we're trying to do, because I think it can be a powerful tool for law enforcement to help solve these cases. Okay, so yeah, Kerry said this video isn't for the masses to make an edit from, but for anyone who recognizes him so they can call him in. Yeah, we try to stay real disciplined here on Grizzly True Crime. We're like, what are we doing this for? You know, it's not really to sit around and discuss what we think this guy is. Is he a, we did that on a member stream. Is it a surfer? Is it a swimmer? Is it an army dude? Is it a, you know, a wrestler? We don't know. All we know is how to click that share button. Share as much as possible, because there will be someone. There will be people out there, and you don't know. They don't watch true crime. We don't know that. Imagine if everybody that knows him doesn't watch true crime. They're going to need to see it somehow, somewhere, on a Facebook page, somewhere on Twitter. Someone that knows them be like, doesn't this look like your cousin? Don't you think this could be your ex-boyfriend? Hey, don't you think this looks like the guy that works down there at the supermarket, or whatever it is? Okay. So, Eliza, I actually haven't heard of you covering the crime. Wait, have you considered covering the crime scene? Oh, okay, sorry, the crime scene. I thought you were asking in general a crime from there. I've been following along, but I'm one person. I can't cover everything, right? But yes, I'm following along. Okay, so everyone, I think that's about it for today. Okay, again, if you've never heard of Shasta Groene's case, or Gruner, okay, check that case out. It's very interesting about survival, how a young victim might survive. And I mean, that victim, man, saw a whole family murdered and was with a very dangerous person and survived because she fawned. So don't judge a freaking victim. Be like, why? This is ridiculous. Why would they walk him to the door? You just don't know the situation. Okay. So thank you so much, everyone, for being here. Thank you, mods, for everything you do. I really appreciate everything you do. Members, if you haven't yet seen my stream from just before this live stream, go check out the members only playlist or the community tab. I was on the balcony with you guys, okay, and Fury. It was a nice time seeing the sunset and the forest here in the Netherlands. So go check that out. And it's also on Patreon now as well. And I will see you guys again very soon. Okay? Are you going to make me proud? Are you going to share? Please do that. I'm going to check. I'm going to be there on Twitter. It's still called twitter.com. But it's known as X now. I'm going to check. Are you sharing there? The surveillance footage is linked in the description box. The contact numbers. Thank you to Grizzly Cat, who always does all these wonderful write-ups. Big write-ups with all the information, all the hashtags. Really appreciate that, okay? Okay, so happy Saturday, everyone. Please stay safe. Okay, keep yourself and your family safe. Always be on the lookout. Okay, never, as they say in this case, don't be like, it's in every case, stuck on your phone. I love my phone. My phone and I are inseparable, okay? But when you're in the forest, you can't just be on your phone and be lost in it. Be looking around, be aware, be safe. Have your bear spray or your wasp spray or your mace or your weapon, whatever it is to stay safe, your whistle, all those things. Okay. And then I will see you again very soon. Yes, and Laurie says, John Kelly, go watch John Kelly's video now. And go say there, lots of love from the Grizzlies and all that. Okay, and I'll see you again very soon. All right, everyone. Let's play that outro now. Bye.